Hey guys, I just wanted to sort of make a kind of finale video to the whole Xbox moderation bullshit series that's been going on for, wow, I think like around 5 months now. Before I end up uploading the compilation I talked about me uploading on Christmas. If you're watching said compilation when it comes out, because this will be included, then, hey, thanks for making it this far, but, anyways, also this will be the last Xbox rant that I make for a while. Hopefully, unless Xbox does some sort of major fuck up again, which, again, hopefully they won't do that, but, with their track record of things being done right to wrong, I wouldn't count on it being very long, but hopefully it's at least, like, half a year at least, uh, also, like I just mentioned, stay tuned because for Christmas I'm going to be uploading a sort of compilation of all the Xbox rants I made in the last few months this year, unless you're already watching this when it comes out. Also, in the last video, I asked you guys if I should continue with the 3DS background gameplay, or, if I should go back to screen recording. However, I'm recording this before I actually upload that, so yeah, if people ended up voting for no, just keep screen recording, then that's why I'm using it again for this one. Uh, but anyway, starting the video finally, you would think in 5 whole months, Xbox would have changed, right? Well, not really. They sort of did, but at the same time, they sort of got worse, like, I noticed, I did notice a couple of months ago that they stopped giving me and my friends false bans all the fucking time, but around that same time, I noticed a lot of other people started complaining about being false banned, too, around the same time that they stopped bothering me and my friends, so apparently this issue isn't fixed, it's just happening to small groups of people at a time. Uh, which is bullshit, kind of smart, admittedly, but still bullshit, I'm saying it's smart because, okay, conspiracy theory time, okay? Think about it. If only a small percentage of their user base knows about the issues, plural, there's more than one issue, many more, then it will take much longer for them to get caught by it, So I think somebody in the moderation team is doing this shit in, like, a planned out way. At least that's what I think, This is a conspiracy theory, but, you know, how does this happen, How does something like this happen? I don't know. Maybe I'm, like, reading into this too much, but I think there's some shit going down over there that should probably get looked into, but assuming any of them are human at least, after dealing with their support team this much, I refuse to believe anyone working at the moderation team is actually a human with a functioning brain. And, don't even get me started on their Twitter support, In the last 5 months, I have had so many issues to constantly bring up with them, and there haven't been any changes. And, around 3 months ago, I had an issue that I tried bringing up with them. Guess how long it took for them to help me? Being 3 entire months and all. Well, this answer might shock you, or maybe not, depending on how well you know them. They still haven't. It's been 3 entire months, and this $600 billion company has yet to help me with an issue that they are causing. I brought the issue up with them at least 15 times, probably 20 by now. I stopped counting after a month and a half. And each time, these absolutely incompetent morons DM me saying, "Oh, hello, are you having any issues that you require assistance in?" And then, I proceed to tell them my issue. It takes them 2 weeks to respond, at least 2 weeks. And yeah, I said over 3 months. I brought it up to them like 20 times, and if you do the math, that doesn't really add up. But I said 20 times because I'm counting you know, the direct tweets I made to them, replies I made to their posts, and their DMs that we had. So, but anyways, after 2 fucking weeks, sometimes an entire month, and they haven't responded to me. I keep bringing it up to them, hoping they'll eventually respond to me about it. They don't, until, they finally do, of course. You want to know what their just amazing responses? Just guess. Okay, it's something like this. Hello, are you having any issues you require assistance with? What the... What? Excuse... I'm just so shocked at how incompetent a company this rich can be, a company this well known, a company that used to have so much good in it is just acting like this. And my reaction each time is like, oh, yeah, I do actually have an issue you could help me with. It's the same problem I've been telling you about for 3 entire months now. I never actually said that. Each time until about 3 weeks ago, I just repeated my issue to them again, but that's basically what I was wanting to say in my mind. And then they, the funny thing is, they have the nerve, 3 weeks ago, when this happened, I think it was like, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, because I had been dealing with their shit, I think then, like 2.5 months, around that time, of dealing with their bullshit response times. They have the nerve to get a fucking attitude with me after I inform them that I do not want to waste my time retyping what I already told them multiple times. And the best part was, in that situation, I had literally, just minutes ago, literally like 3 minutes beforehand, just typed out what my issue was, in extreme detail. You could not miss that message. What happened was, a bot responded to me, right? And I just selected, like, other or something else, and it's like, oh, hold on, it specifically told me, please wait while I connect you to an actual person, or something like that, and it specifically said, please type out your issue while I find someone, and so I did just that. And then the person asks me what my issue is, and I told them, I literally just told you, just like I have been for 3 months, and they're like, and I could tell, they were getting an attitude with me when they responded. I forget what they responded with. I couldn't give 2 shits about going back to check, but I could tell, okay? I could tell they were getting an attitude. And yeah, so I ended up having to repeat it yet again, because they are too incompetent to simply look up or scroll up a web page. And then they still didn't finish helping me. They got further than, before all the other times, but that doesn't fucking matter when you don't actually finish the job. And something I find ironic is that, just a couple of days ago, as of recording this video, they made a tweet saying, oh, when the game is most intense, before you say something unpleasant, take a minute and think things through. Basically telling you, hey, don't say rude things to people. Like, they literally have no room to talk about this. They have no room to talk, considering the fact that they literally false ban innocent people, and then they suddenly go on a trip to get the fucking milk when someone is actually doing something wrong, You can't false ban innocent people and then suddenly vanish from existence when someone's actually breaking the fucking rules. That's ass backwards. You can't do that shit. Well, actually they can, because they've been doing it for 5 entire months now, but still, that should not be happening. How these people got such an important job working at a $600 billion company, I don't know. Jesus Christ, McDonald's is stricter with who they hire, I bet. I'm willing to bet McDonald's is stricter with their hiring. I just have no words. I have no words to describe how just pissed off and disappointed and just shocked I am to see, a company like Xbox and Microsoft, fall down this big of a slope in quality so quickly. And then the fact that, nobody else wants to really acknowledge that these problems exist and are affecting many people, innocent people at that. I have nothing to really say. I don't know. This is a problem with the Xbox company and the people who work there, yes, but hear me out on this one. I feel like the community is also partially to blame here. Just partially, and obviously the community, obviously some random Joe isn't going to the fucking building and shoving their hand up Microsoft's ass and having them do all this, but, they're partially to blame, The only way, let me explain. The only way to get these issues fixed is to complain to them that we want them fixed, and, probably also to stop spending fucking money on them. If they see that people are complaining and stop spending money on their products, I guarantee you, they're a company, they only want money. They only care about money. That's the only thing they really need to care about. So if their profits suddenly drop, that's going to be bad for them, and they will want to fix whatever is wrong. They'll ask us. They'll most likely come out and say, "Hey, we noticed a lot of people are angry at us or upset with us. What is the issues? So we can tell us your issues so we can look into them." You know? And we tell them all the issues, we want hypocrites out of their spot at moderation, in fact, most Xbox players want no moderation at all, I totally agree with that, just let the players handle the conflicts themselves, don't get involved with someone else's argument, like if that was, like that, Xbox just should not have any moderation, everyone, I wasn't around back then, but I hear everyone talking about modern warfare lobbies and all that. We need to go back to that. If somebody doesn't like what someone else is saying, just block them, and boom, it doesn't boom. It's a much better way than reporting someone and getting them banned. It's much better. We also want an Xbox support account that isn't run by fucking preschoolers that ride the short bus, And we want them to stop being so greedy and, to show that they actually give a shit about their fans. But with the way things are going, this isn't going to happen. There have been so many times where I would reply to an Xbox post talking about the many problems I've had with them in the last few months, and I would ask them, why hasn't this been fixed yet? It's been months. It's been months. Why has this not been fixed? And why can't they at least respond about these issues? And then a bunch of Xbox fans would start replying to my reply with these arguments and false assumptions that make no sense at all in an attempt to defend Xbox, and, without stopping to listen to my side, and even when their arguments made no sense, rarely would anyone ever agree with me, it kind of surprises me that nobody really gives a fuck about all these innocent people being banned for no reason, and, all of a sudden, guilty people are allowed to walk wherever the fuck they want, that's completely ass backwards, and, just get rid of moderation entirely. Like if you applied this same logic to a courtroom, say for example, some dude literally videotaped himself stabbing this guy to death, hand delivers the video to the judge, and then he still gets free even though he is guilty and it wasn't in self-defense, And then literally the next day, somebody comes in being convicted of stealing a fucking balloon like it's straight out of SpongeBob SquarePants, and the prosecutors, I think those are the ones like suing the guy or trying to put him in jail. I don't fucking know. I don't know law, but basically they hand the judge a tape, right? And then they just start fucking rambling on and on about and tell him all about how they're lying and the tape is faked and the wind actually blew the balloon away, but the guy just didn't want to lose his job. But then the guy still gets thrown in jail as guilty for 20 years for stealing a balloon or some shit like that. That's essentially the logic here. This essentially the same thing going on here. Innocent people getting punished, while, guilty people, they're free to do as they please, And I bet the majority of these same people wouldn't be too accepting of that kind of shit, actually going down. So why are those same people accepting of all of this going down? Uh, you know, it's not even just a matter of, they got their account banned. So what? Because when you get your account banned, you lose access to all of your games library. You lose all your data, you don't have access to the games that were purchased with that account anymore. That's bullshit. Especially with how horrible the moderation is. You can't just go around false banning people again, innocent people who have done nothing wrong, and then turn right around and just stare at someone who actually did something wrong and go, oh yes, this is completely fine. Like, I really think the Xbox community needs to stop being so blind towards obvious problems. You can like something and admit its flaws at the same time. I don't think a lot of people really understand this. They think that in order to like something, they just cannot have anything to complain about it. They have to, if they do feel like they want to complain about something, they're like, I really like this, so I can't complain about it. I'll just push these feelings down, hide my complaints. That's not how you shouldn't do that. If you want something to get better, you complain about its flaws so that it can get better. If it can get better. And the last thing I want to bring up, a quick Google search shows that Xbox only has a 1% probability of going bankrupt, and yet Sony has a 75% chance, which actually went down, I think, since like a month or two ago when I saw someone mention this and I looked it up then. I think it was like 97% or something around there. But, anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, if Xbox is this bad and only has a 1% chance of going bankrupt, then I can only imagine how bad Sony is at 75%. And another thing I just realized, this isn't in the script, so I might stutter a little more than I normally do, or maybe a lot more, but, everyone's always talking about how, competition in the gaming industry is good because it makes these companies not feel like they're up on a high horse and they can do whatever the fuck they want. But look what's happening. Look what's happening. Exactly that is happening with Xbox. Xbox is just like, oh, we can do whatever the fuck we want. We're Xbox, and they have competition with PlayStation and Nintendo. Can you imagine if Sony actually went bankrupt and had to shut down PlayStation? That would majorly lessen the competition, And if there's not as much competition, I can just imagine how bad Xbox would get if they realize that they can do even more without getting, without people complaining about it, because they're Xbox. There aren't any competitors. It's kind of like how YouTube does shit like remove the dislike button, they'll remove the dislike count. They didn't remove the button, they just removed the count for some bullshit reason, people complained about it, but realistically, who cares if they complain, I mean, obviously we do, the community does, but YouTube doesn't need to care. There is no competitor for YouTube, so if the same thing was to happen to Xbox, I just imagine how bad something like that would be. But anyways, so I want to say in this video, again, on Christmas, I'm going to upload a special compilation of all the Xbox rants I made in the past few months. Stay tuned for that. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to be notified of when I upload. Bye, guys.